It feels like kombucha is everywhere you look these days. It's gone from health food stores to the cooler at your local gas station. This fizzy fermented tea has just totally blown up, and it comes with this long list of promised health benefits. But what's actually going on behind all the hype? Let's get into it.
And I'm sure you've seen the labels. Each bottle seems to be advertising some new miracle, right? Weight loss, a cure-all for all your problems. As one writer put it, it's often sold like this modern-day snake oil. It's a really appealing idea, but is any of it real?
So that's really the big question we're tackling today. Is kombucha this amazing health drink that's truly backed by science, or is it just another trendy beverage with some seriously good marketing? We're going to follow the evidence and find out. And make no mistake, this isn't some small niche trend. Kombucha is big business. We're talking about a market in Europe that's expected to rocket to 1.3 billion euros by 2030. When that many people are drinking something, we kind of owe it to ourselves to figure out what it actually does. All right, so if we're going to get to the bottom of these health claims, we have to start with the basics. We need to understand what's actually in the bottle. And it all begins with this weird-looking thing called a SCOBY. So what on earth is a SCOBY? Well, the name kind of gives it away. It's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. The easiest way to think about it is like this living, rubbery pancake that's home to all the little microorganisms that do the hard work of fermentation. It is literally the engine of kombucha.
And how you get from sweet tea to taking kombucha is this pretty cool four-step dance. First, you just start with regular old sweetened tea. Then you add the SCOBY. The yeast in that SCOBY goes to town on the sugar, creating alcohol and that fizz, the CO2. But it's not done. Then the bacteria take over, eat up most of that alcohol, and turn it into those organic acids that give kombucha its signature tart flavor.
So, when all is said and done, what are you actually left with in the bottle? Well, it's this whole cocktail of potentially good stuff. You've got probiotics, those are the famous good live bacteria for your gut. You get organic acids, antioxidants that were in the tea to begin with, and even a few B vitamins and some vitamin C. This stuff right here? This is the foundation for pretty much every health claim you see on a bottle. Okay, now we know what's supposedly making this drink so special. It's time to put the big claims to the test. Let's really dig in and separate the marketing hype from what the actual science says. First up, a really big one, the idea that kombucha can help with blood sugar. Now, if this were true, it would be a massive deal for millions of people. So what does the research show? Well, a pilot study from 2023 found something that made everyone sit up and pay attention. In people with type 2 diabetes, drinking kombucha every day for 4 weeks led to an almost 30% drop in their fasting blood sugar. Wow. But, and this is a huge but, the study was incredibly small. We're talking just 12 people. So it's super promising for sure, but we desperately need bigger studies to confirm this. Okay, this is probably the #1 reason people pick up their first bottle of kombucha. The claim is that all those probiotics are going to work wonders for your gut health. So, is it true? The evidence here is also pretty interesting, but it definitely comes with some asterisks. One study did find that it helped women with IBS become more regular, which is great, but the kombucha they drank also had extra fiber added to it. Another study showed that in healthy adults, it did seem to push their gut bacteria in a healthier direction. But again, these are small, short studies. Promising? Yes. Definitive? Not yet.
Ah, the Holy Grail. This claim is plastered all over social media and wellness blogs. The idea that you can just sip on something delicious and watch the pounds melt away is, well, it's the dream, right? But does kombucha actually do that?
While the science on this one is pretty cut and dried, a 2024 study was crystal clear about it. They took people who were already on a diet and had some of them drink kombucha. The result? The kombucha group didn't lose a single extra pound. The researchers didn't mince words, concluding kombucha is not a weight loss drink. Plain and simple.
So after looking at all of this, what's the big picture? A major scientific review that gathered all the human trials together kind of summed it up perfectly. They said kombucha may provide some benefits, especially for gut issues, and it has a modest, not huge, but modest, ability to influence our gut microbes. It's a very careful, very balanced take on where the science stands right now. And if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. This is the big caveat. While the findings are exciting, the research is still just getting started. It's in its infancy. No human study on kombucha has ever had more than 60 people or gone on for longer than 10 weeks. That means it is way, way too early to think of kombucha as some kind of proven medicine.
But hey, let's set aside all the big medical claims for a second. There's a much simpler, more practical reason you might reach for a kombucha. Just look at this. A can of soda can have around 40 grams of sugar. 40. Most kombuchas have somewhere between 5 and 8. So if you're just looking for a low-sugar alternative to a sweet drink, it's a no-brainer. It wins, hands down.
Okay, but are there any downsides to drinking it? Well, for some people, yeah. The most common complaints by far are gas and bloating, especially when you first start drinking it and your gut is trying to figure out what's going on. The best advice is to just start small, like half a glass. See how you feel and then slowly increase from there if you want.
All right, now here's something that might actually surprise you. Because it's fermented, all kombucha has a little bit of alcohol in it. It's totally natural. But here's the thing. In the US, to be sold as non-alcoholic, a drink has to be under 0.5% alcohol. One massive study of hundreds of bottles found the average was actually quite a bit higher than that, and about a third of them were over 1%. It's not enough to feel it, but if you're avoiding alcohol for any reason, it's definitely something you want to be aware of.
Okay, we've been through the whole process, we've looked at the science, the pros, and the cons, so that leaves us with the bottom line. To drink or not to drink?
If you do decide you want to drink it, here's a quick cheat sheet for what to look for when you're standing in that grocery aisle. First, find one with low sugar, ideally 4 grams or less. Make sure the label says unpasteurized, otherwise they've killed off all the good stuff. Look for simple ingredients: tea, sugar, the culture, maybe some fruit juice. And finally, if it matters to you, check for that alcohol content.
And that really brings us to our final question. With this science still so young, is kombucha a genuinely helpful habit to get into? Or is its greatest strength just the fact that it's a much, much healthier alternative to a can of soda? Right now, the truth is probably floating somewhere in between, and it's really up to you to decide if and where it fits into your life.